Hi, Rana. How are
How are
you?
you? I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you too. And it's been so long that we've been planning on this, just because we've always been so happy chatting with each other, reflecting on our experiences.
Indeed.
So I'm really glad that we're doing this.
It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it, as I always do when we talk.
Likewise, likewise. So just a briefing for everyone who's listening to
Yeah.
us. Uh, where we know each other from. Honest to God, I don't think that in 2003, when I first met you at Concordia, our friendship will continue all the way until today. Because
It's pretty special, I have to say. I have to say. And I'm joyful for it. I'm grateful for it. Yeah. Way back in 2003 is when we first met each other at Concordia. We're starting a postgraduate, a doctoral program together and
yes,
shared an office. And then it just kind of blossomed from there.
and I guess it's so amazing how our life progressed since then. And for me, it's always been nice sitting with you and talking to you about learning, teaching and learning, particularly with online components. We were both doing EdTech, PhDs in EdTech, and since then we've had numerous experiences. But I came from a teaching background within K to 12, and you came from a totally different space.
Yes, I came mostly from the corporate learning and development space.
Mhm.
Yet the stuff that we learned was applicable and invaluable in both places, which segues into why exactly we want to talk to each other again.
Exactly. Especially nowadays that there's a lot with regards to online learning slash training
Hmm.
in both contexts. And it's very interesting because I never saw learning at that time. I never saw learning outside the scope of a school or formal education. And it was such an eye opener talking with you and with others who come from similar backgrounds.
Yeah, that it actually takes place in other contexts other than formal spaces, shall we say. Yeah,
Exactly, with different aspects that come to be of relevance and importance, I guess.
I think so. I think so. So, what we are doing here is starting our own little podcast called Chat
Yeah.
to Learn, right?
Yes, yes,
Great name because we thought what we're going to do is chat to learn from and with each other
e-
and see where that goes. So I think that's really exciting. And our focus, as you were mentioning, is going to be more teaching and learning, but in the higher ed space, not so much in the K to 12 space.
exactly.
Looking at and sharing not only research informed aspects that we're aware of, but also stories from our own experiences and how that went. And I think that storytelling is such a great way to connect with anyone who's interested in this kind of stuff.
Exactly, because part of what I've always seen, especially with my experience in higher education as a faculty member and then as a dean for quite some time, and working with faculty members who are trying to implement technology, I've always seen that there is, and maybe this is human nature after all, that transfer from theory to practice tends to be the hardest thing. And uh, bridging the gap between what research says and how we can implement and apply it in our own contexts tends to be
Mm.
quite interesting. So I'm really looking forward to our discussions about learning and bridging that gap between the theory and the practice.
And I think the thing we have to mention, honestly, in higher education is not necessarily every professor who's coming in has got that theory. They're
Exactly.
coming in as fabulous subject matter experts in their area, which may not be teaching and learning, which is our area. So I think being able to connect with other faculty and participate in faculty development and such is also great. So aside from the corporate side, the training and development side that I have um, in the majority of my actually work history, I've also been a university professor. So we've got that sort of thing in common where we're both in higher ed looking at those kind of things.
And I think what is really nice about our discussions and the synergy between us comes from the notion of we've not just taken the theory, but we've also practiced. I know for myself, when I first graduated with my PhD at Concordia, I didn't have the skill and the expertise with teaching online. So when I first got the first position I had with blended learning university, I was very apprehensive. And this was 2009. I was very apprehensive because I had the theory, but I didn't have the practice. And that transition was very tough for me. And I felt I was lucky to have worked with that blended university because it allowed me to see it in practice and to carry my pedagogy and the learning theories and what I've been trained on and what I thought of to put in practice. I guess on your side, you had extensive part with online.
Right. I had a lot of experience. And in fact, it's almost the reverse where I had the experiential side, but I wasn't that theoretical with things except for my own reading and my own pursuit of information and knowledge. So I came in and I already had the experience, but I was just filling it in with theory and things like that. So that's an interesting difference between the two of us. It's almost backwards.
Exactly. And that's why I really love when we are talking throughout our years of collegiality, friendship, and amazing relation. I always love when you go with a question and you go, what does that mean? Yes, yes, what does that mean? So I'm looking forward to our chats, and I hope that whoever is following will get to benefit from some of those reflections and informal discussions about learning, but informed with research and experience, I guess.
Experience. Focus again on higher ed, teaching and learning.
So let's chat to learn.
All right.
Take care.